Audio Jungle.
Jayson-Lee Collins.
Craig Berman, how's it?
What does it take to be a sales manager? Because you are ruining the roost.
Yeah, it takes a lot of energy, a lot of charisma. I mean, the guys, it's easy to do deals by yourself, but it's hard to carry a team through deals. So, I mean, it just takes a bit more work, really.
So, I mean, when you wake up in the morning, do you have a thought process that's going to drive the initiative for the day?
Yeah, look, I mean, we have our strategies. We know what we need to do, but I pretty much take it on a wing. You know, I mean, every day is different. Every day holds different things. So just take it as it comes and run with it, basically.
And I mean, you're just so dedicated to your craft.
Yeah.
And I kind of is a people's business. I often say it's people before property, but you are the professional psychologist.
Yeah. No, I mean, everything around sales is people. You can't do deals without relationships. So it's that's the key.
So Liam, also welcome. Thank you for
very
helping
much.
me
Thank
through
you.
this process. I get nervous when I talk to Jason because he's always on point.
I see so.
Are you selling or are you serving the customer?
Look, I mean, I think it's all about the customer. It's all about your relations. You can sell one property, but if you've got a good relationship, you can sell 20. So
yeah.
I always think of brokers as sales managers, relationship managers, sorry. It's all about managing your relationships, getting the next deal, getting the guy to phone you instead of someone else. It's just building relationships. That's all it is.
Yeah.
Learning how to sell ice to an Eskimo.
You've got to sell ice to an Eskimo. But is it like elasticity where when it comes to the end of the deal, what for you grabs you in that whole process? I mean, you've got 6 weeks running a process, taking a property to auction. Which is the most exciting part for you to run that process in?
Probably signing the contract.
I was about to say getting the money.
No, look, I mean, for me, I'm always excited to get new stock. That's the exciting part for me. It's like, if you've chosen out of 100 or thousands of brokers, if you're the chosen guy who someone trusts you with their asset, for me, that's always the exciting part,
We don't realize how important that is.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of guys doing it. There's a lot of brokers out there in the market, but there's not a lot of good brokers. So if you're the trusted broker with a 100 million rand asset, that means quite a bit,
And tell me, how many repeat clients do you get? Because I mean, we've spoken to Norman about like relationships and the relationships how valuable they are to business. How many repeat clients or customers do you get that come to you that want you to sell more things? Or
I mean, pretty much my whole year has just been repeat clients. It's the relationships I formed 2-3 years ago, and those are the ones coming through now. I mean, you do a good job, the guys always come back. So most of it's repeat clients for me personally.
Is it as if you're as good as your last performance, or is that what the stress is attached to this business? Yeah. Can I sell the asset?
That's exactly what it is, and I think it's also out of sight, out of mind thing. So if you give a good service and you're always on top of them, if you create a strong relationship with the guys, they'll always come back to you.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, again, with that 6-week process, I mean, when signing the deal is the one thing, then activating the program is another, and then of course trying to get it through, trying to get a buyer on board. I mean, that must also, when you finally get an offer, I mean, that's like manna.
Everyone thinks selling is just one thing. You get the property, you get the buyer, you sell it. There's 3 stages to closing. You got to close the mandate, you get your property. You got to close the campaign. You got to get the campaign running properly, and then you have to close the actual deal. And then when that's done, you have to make sure the guys get their financing. So it's a whole process. And just because you've done a deal doesn't mean it stops there.
And what's the most strenuous part of closing a deal? What like really gets your nerves going?
I think it really depends on your relationship. I mean, for me, I've got really good relationships with my sellers. A lot of guys have good relationships with their buyers. So for me, the hardest part and the most strenuous part is probably trying to get the maximum for your seller from the buyers. That's what I find the hardest, For a guy who has a good relationship with their buyers, they might find closing the mandate the hardest stage. So it really depends on the brokers.
All right. And then I don't think you've ever been asked this before, but I don't really understand exactly what the day of a broker looks like. Tell me, from when you get to the office in the morning, what does the day of a broker look like?
Well, first thing's a cup of coffee.
Oh,
that kicks it off. That always kicks it off. So you get your cup of coffee. A lot of phone time. The good brokers are the guys who are on the phone. A lot of travel time, meeting a lot of client face-to-face interactions. That's the main parts of a broker's day to day.
All right, and go to bed early or?
Depends on how much the day hold. I mean, on Friday I crashed at 7:30, you know, because I got to the office at about 7 o'clock, did everything I had to, ran around like a madman, and then got home and crashed. So that's early. If it's Friday, we might push it to 3 in the morning, but it depends. Wow. It really depends, you know.
Is it really like boiler room? I mean, can it get to that level of pressure where
that's
you've
where
got
it needs
a
to
lot
be.
Of things happening?
That's where it needs to be. It has to be at that boiler room stage where guys are constantly on the phone. There's like Wall of Wall Street kind of thing, you know.
I was just about to say.
That's exactly what it needs to be. That's what a good auction house and a good brokerage firm will do.
And I watched a movie quite a while ago called Boiler Room, where it's a bunch of stock exchange brokers or whatever you call them, and they have a rebuttal that they can say to anyone when they call someone and the guy says, no, I'm not going to give you my money. They have a rebuttal. How important is it really? Like, is it like that in the movies, or how important is it to be able to rebuttal someone and say, yeah, but you know, this property is worth more than that one, and you know.
Do you have an answer for everything?
What's it like?
Look, I don't think it's a rebuttal.
How important is it to have very good rebuttals?
I don't think it's a rebuttal. I think it's more a solution. So guys who are phoning you, asking you and saying, listen, this property is 10 million, but I can get it 8 million down the road. I think they're just misinformed. I mean, there's a reason why the property down the road was at 8 million rand. So it's more discussion than a rebuttal. I don't think a good broker has an answer to everything. I think that's just a smart ass, excuse me.
No, exactly.
I think brokers learn from their clients as well. So it's not a rebuttal, but more a conversation.
All right.
So a couple of flash questions. Favorite movie?
Oh, geez. Million Ways to Die in the West.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my goodness.
Wasn't expecting that one.
I thought you were going to say Wolf of Wall Street, because that's a good movie.
No, the comedies.
Favorite song?
Too many. I'm a fan of the blues music. So anything from Peter Frampton or anything like that, I'm in there.
And just favorite eating experience?
Pork in Czech Republic.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my goodness. This is very specific stuff.
It's all the memories.
Oh, but I guess you have an enormous amount of fun doing what you do. I mean, the pot does boil, and there are many, many different personalities.
Yeah.
And you got to it is elasticity where you got to, when it comes to commission, I've never ever seen in my career of property, commission always hitting the same number. There's always 95, 96, 54 plus 22. It just never is the same. So it's finding that quantum and trying to hold that commission intact, which is probably the most difficult challenge in the whole process at the end. So the brokers always suffer, or they tend to suffer.
Yeah. And it's hard to hold the guys together. I mean, you know, you've got 30 guys you're responsible for. And you've got 30 guys who need to make money.
Especially in today's markets as well. I can imagine how stressful it must be.
No, it is. It's stressful and it's hard. But it's your job to keep the guys optimistic and working hard. And it's your job to keep the guys who aren't making money motivated.
And also to give them an objective viewpoint, like to be their bounce back, and to give them facts rather than, because I mean, understand people let their emotions get the best of them all the time. So I think your job also, from what I understand our conversation so far, is to be an objective viewpoint, and to give them objective or facts.
To be objective, but also to be a crutch, you know. I mean, being alone is very depressive. And if you're alone and struggling, it's even worse. So if you got a team that you can stand together, you can lean on each other, it makes the environment better, and it makes you motivated, and that's when you get real deals done. I mean,
and then I want to take you, like, I don't know how old you are, but 5-10 years back, what was your Jerry Maguire moment? What was your moment when you decided you're going to be a broker? Where did you find that inspiration to become a broker? Because I mean, when I was small, it was a policeman or something very generic. What was your inspiration to become a broker?
I'm still looking for that. I'm still looking for the answer on that. You know, brokering was never something I thought, okay, let me go do it. It just kind of came naturally. I mean, what I am is I'm good in business, and that's where I strive. And selling.
It's very logical.
And with
very
people,
practical.
You know, and where our benefit is with my building my relationships with my EQs. So brokering came naturally. It's the business aspect when I decided probably There was nothing, no defining moment. I just always knew I had to be in business. It was just, it's where I fit.
Awesome. All right. Makes sense.
Well, Jason, thank you for giving us time in your busy schedule.
Very busy schedule.
Absolutely. I see how busy he is.
No problem.
We should give him a watch just to see how often he walks up and down the corridor. I think certainly make his miles.
I see him roaming around outside on his phone all day long.
All day.
Yeah,
Charges 3 times a day.
Have to be.
Jason, thank you for joining us.
Liam,
thank you so much.
Thank you for supporting the process on BrollCast. And once again, the day in the life of a great opportunity, and this could be your opportunity. Thank you, Jack.
Thank you so
guys.
much. Thank you for your time. Goodbye.